Hi, thanks for watching. Now, although there are many different ways to generate new customer leads for your business, consumer habits have shifted over the last couple of years since the pandemic, and I wanted to show you how you can leverage local internet search volume to bring all the leads in through your website for free. Well, basically at whatever it costs to keep your site live. Now, all these leads will be coming exclusively to you, unlike third-party sites like Angie's and Home Advisor. And just so you can see that there is value in it, I'm going to show you the amount of traffic and leads coming to your top competitors, so that way you can know what to expect. So just for comparison, what I've done is a couple of searches here for water damage, mold remediation, and then also carpet cleaning. Now, for water damage and mold remediation, it seems like Rhode Island Restoration was the top company. And then for carpet cleaning, there was this Rhode Island Carpet Cleaners. And obviously Stanley Steamer is a franchise. So what I've done is just taken all these top companies as well as your own website, and I put them all into this tool that I use, and it shows me all the information that Google uses to determine your position in search results. Now you can see just briefly based on some of these numbers why these companies and these websites are outranking yours at the top of the list. But let me just briefly touch on what these numbers mean. So as we go through your site, we can see what changes need to be made and how they'll affect its rank. So when Google is determining how to rank your website, it's going to use two different factors. The first is what's called the authority or trust that it has in your site. Now, this basically boils down to a popularity contest because this authority is gained when other domains or websites refer back to yours and then they create a link called a backlink. And then this acts as an endorsement that Google uses to build trust because others are vouching for you. So just to give you a quick example, say if local Channel 12 News did an article on their website and it was the top 10 best disaster cleanup companies in Rhode Island. And in that article, the reader could click on a link and it would bring them to your website. That's considered one backlink from one referring domain. Now, these backlinks can come in from many different types of websites, including blogs, editorials, guest posts, press releases, like I just mentioned. One very strong and important type is what's called a citation. Now, that's any time that your name, address, and phone number appear in an online directory. Those include Yelp, Yellow Pages, Better Business Bureau, Super Pages. The good news is those are all free. It just takes some time to find them, register your business, and then input the information exactly as it's shown in Google. So looking back over the numbers, you can see just based on the number of websites and the number of links that have been created, why Google is placing more authority and trust in these. But you can also see that there's a pretty big disparity in the actual numbers. So this is a really good indicator that it has a lot to do with quality, not just the quantity. So we need to make sure that we're creating links to websites and businesses that are relative to your service industry, uh, local to the area, to the very least inside the United States. The closer the better. And they just have to have trust themselves because we need to make sure that they are a trustworthy source so that they can transfer some of that trust through the link. The second factor for ranking your website is the content on your page. So if we take a look in here, these are all the keywords and phrases that Google is either finding or associating with your site, and then the volume, the number of times per month they're being searched. So this is where do a little bit of market research just to find the highest volume keywords relative to the services that you offer and the areas you want to offer them in, and make sure that they're being included on your site. So what I'm looking for is what I call a buyer intent keywords, because what I see here is a lot of branded keywords, meaning clean right, which is great, but that means people are searching for you directly, which means they already know you. We're looking to attract new customers, and also, I mean, there might be clean rights. That might be another business name. So just searching clean right doesn't necessarily guarantee it's going to be you. There could be a clean right in another state. So I want to find keywords where somebody is searching for a service that they want to have done in their home. So for instance, if we look over at Rhode Island Restoration, mold remediation RI, that means somebody in Rhode Island needs to have some mold remediation done and they're looking to hire somebody. That's being searched 100 times per month. Looking in here, we get North Providence, but so let me just use this as an example. If your website was on the first page, like they're number 3 on the list. It's probably below ads. So if you were at the top of the list just like them, these 100 people a month would be searching and finding your website. Now, Google Analytics estimates that of total search volume, 10% of that on average should convert into a lead, whether they're calling you directly or filling out the form on your website. So that's on average 10 new leads per month. Now, obviously, you're not going to close every single one of those, and the scope and profit margin for each job varies. But you can see just how the sheer volume of leads coming in can definitely add up to some revenue at the end of the month and at the end of the year. And that's just off one keyword phrase. So we'd want to repeat that same process for all the high volume keyword phrases, making sure that those are included and found on your site. However, there is a formula that Google uses to find these keywords. So if we take a look at your site here, as far as layout goes, I mean, this might be a zoom issue. I've tried to zoom out a couple times, so we're still getting some heads cut off. But we've got all the information people could want right in the drop downs. It's mobile optimized, which is great because the majority of people are using their mobile device. But as far as Google is concerned, being a computer, the first thing it's going to do is just come in and count all the words and text on the page. Now, generally speaking, I usually recommend to have about 1,000 to 1,500 words on a home page, only because the more information you have on the page, the more Google assumes that you're an expert in your field, and then the more likely it is to recommend you in search results. Kind of like the difference between having a book and then a series of encyclopedias. So if we take a look at Rhode Island restoration, I used 1,000 to 1,500 words as like a benchmark, but really it's based on the competition. So if they've got 1,000 words, we're going to do 1,500. If they've got 1,500, you're going to want to do 2,000. It's just a simple race of numbers. You want to make sure we have more than they do. So you can see all the information that they're providing on their page. Now, while Google is counting all the words, it's also searching for all those keywords. So the services you want to offer and the areas you want to be found in. So this is where the number of words on the page really comes into play, because you're really only able to qualify one keyword for about every 100 to 150 words of text on the page. And then furthermore, after the most recent updates, Google is really putting an emphasis on the quality of the content. So it's actually reading what's on your website. So besides having, water damage, and then we'd want to make that, something more specific like water damage RI or what the actual keyword is, we then need to have that 100 or 150 words describing water damage in order for Google to qualify that keyword. So as you can see here, and they've got, where is it? Water damage restoration in Rhode Island. That's probably an exact match keyword phrase. So they've got that as a heading, and then they've got words of text describing it. Same thing with, there was another one down here that I saw. Might have been on one of their service pages, but there you can see how they have a heading that's going to have the keyword in it, and then some content to back up that keyword. So this is basically a similar format that needs to get done on almost any website now that Google wants to see that actual content, because it wants to make sure when somebody is searching that it's providing the best quality search results. So in order for it to recommend you for that keyword, it needs to make sure that you actually know what you're doing or actually offer that service instead of just a list. So what I would say here is design-wise, there's no problem. I think it's a great flowing design, navigation, all the information. You would just need to add more content and include more of those, like I said, buyer intent keywords onto the page in order for you to get picked up in more search results. So that way, when we get to the search, at the top of any search are going to be pay-per-click ads. And then this is the what we call the map pack. So this is actually a pretty important section to get into as well. This has to do with your Google business profile, which is also free. There are ways to optimize this to get higher up on the list, because anywhere from 40 to 60% of search volume can come right to these top 3 companies, since they're literally at the top of the list. So you want to make sure you fill out your profile as much as possible, get some reviews as much as you can. Google really rewards activity, so you want to be posting updates and more importantly, pictures to this profile. Same thing, whatever they have for pictures, we want to make sure that you have more pictures than they do. And then going into one step further, Google can't understand a photo, but it can understand information embedded in the photo. So when we upload a photo to a business profile, we always make sure to geotag it with a location. That way Google can understand your service area. So even though your business address might be in one part of Rhode Island, if we have photos that are tagged in another part, it'll still see you as very relevant, and it makes it easier for you to come up in these top 3. However, underneath that, this is what we call the organic search results. This is where the more authority or trust that Google has in your site, the higher up on the list that you're going to rank. So this is where getting more of those links or referrals from other websites is going to help you climb and outright the competition. And then once you have the proper content on the web page, you can come up in the search results in this section, and you can be getting all those clicks and all those calls whenever people are searching. Now, I hope this information will help you. I know it's kind of a lot, but please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or if you want me to go into any further details. we could talk about some of the goals for the business, and then I could do a little bit of research on my end to find out, what it would take for you guys to reach those. But I always appreciate just getting some feedback as well, just to see if information like this was useful. So please let me know what you thought. Thank you, and I appreciate your time.